Hey guys, and welcome to this week's edition of the Original Strength Podcast. Got a special guest this week, my business partner, Dani Almeyda. If you have ever seen anything to do with Original Strength, or if you've ever seen anything to do with me, really, Dani's the reason. She is the spark, the fire, the blinding energy behind everything that we do. So I'm going to expose you to that energy. You may want to put on some shades, and if you get too much on you after this is over, I'm sorry, and welcome to my world. All right, here we go. Hey guys, and welcome to this week's edition of the Original Strength Podcast, or the Nope and Swanson edition of the Original Strength Podcast. I am Tim, and this is my partner, Dani, and I must do my customary, anytime I introduce Dani to anyone, I must tell you that we are not married, nor are we brother and sister. We are purely almost friends, but business partners.
Accurate.
Is that
accurate?
That's accurate. So, if you don't know, Dani and I are partners in Original Strength, in Original Strength Institute, in Original Strength Institute Online, and in we even have some kind of series called the Strong and Able Challenge series.
We got things.
We have those things, at least those 4 things, and there may be more things that we're involved in. So basically, Dani's a fire starter, and she keeps me busy. Dani, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Welcome to myself. Yes. Excited.
Yes, welcome to the show. So Dani is also a mom of 2. How old are your children, Dani?
Marshall, on the cover of the first Original Strength book, he's 7.
There's some history for you Original Strength fans.
And Jocelyn is 5. Also on the cover of one of the books.
I was going to ask you, is Jocelyn on one of the books as well?
She is, Pressing Reset Reloaded. Did you think I didn't know the name of the book?
You forgot.
He thought I didn't know the name of the book.
So Dani's also a mother of 2. She is running about 4 to 5 businesses, and she started something called the Women's Movement Collaborative, and she volunteers for every possible thing that she can. Dani, how do you balance all of these things that you do?
I don't.
That's the truest thing I have ever heard.
No, but seriously, everyone always asks me that, and you should know, of all people, there is no perfect balance.
I am the balance.
Partners.
Yes, and she's also obviously the Original Strength Institute we're a small group training facility in Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina. So you're a trainer.
Yes.
How long have you been a trainer?
I have been.
Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I have been training since 2006. Yeah, 2006, in the industry for well over that amount of time. So I guess how many years is that?
I don't know.
14
years? It's 2020.
Almost 15 years, yeah. So, so I also was a collegiate athlete and spent a lot of time in the weight room, helping my teammates and working in the athletic training room in college. So I've been in the industry for a while, and yeah.
So Dani and I we met around 2010, and somehow we started becoming partners in creating all these little businesses and things. What is it about Original Strength Institute, our brick and mortar facility, that you love the most?
Oh, the people, just the people, and I don't know where to look. I'm just throwing this out there, guys. I'm like,
right.
Do I look at you or do I look at him?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So, the people are by far what makes this place so special. I mean, the relationships that are built every day, and just seeing people get stronger and light up, and literally seeing people's lives change right in front of you. That's pretty incredible. The environment in general, there's just something special that you feel here.
Why do you think most people, or why do people come to OSI? How do they find OSI? Why do you think that is?
How do they find us? I mean, I think people hear about it after, their friends are happy and seeing the changes reflecting there.
Let me ask you, that was a poor question on my part. Why do people, if you're a trainer and you're here at OSI, why do you think people come to see you? If you're a trainer, why do people come to personal trainers?
Because they are searching for something. Like I mean, that is, I know that's a really vague answer, but I think that they're searching for something more, and they're looking for a supportive place. They're looking for someone to help pick them up and show them who they really are.
So you're kind of saying that people don't necessarily come to personal trainers for physical reasons,
Yes.
that they come for other reasons.
Yes. I never believe that someone is coming into the gym just because they want to lose 10 pounds or they want to have biceps that show. There's always a deeper reason behind every single person's initial why.
All right. If you could like put generalities, what is the biggest why that you see the most? Or what's the biggest issue that you see when training people the most?
I don't know where you're leading me here.
I'm just asking you a question.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest why down at the bottom is everyone's searching for a way to find a way to discover themselves more, see what their true potential is, and honestly just like love themselves more. I think, people don't really realize necessarily, but they're coming because maybe there's something missing and they need to find that missing connection, whether that is finding a greater connection in themselves or with relationships with other people. But I think it's a greater connection, whether it's with themselves or others, probably both.
So that's what I was trying to lead her towards. Here at OSI, we tend to get people that show up that don't necessarily feel good about themselves, and it's not always usually a physical reason, correct?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think we get a lot of people that come in for injuries and that, they just don't know where to go and they don't know where to start, and then they start training and they uncover so much more and they open up this whole new life or whole new door to new experiences and a new personality, not necessarily new personality, but just willing to try new things and making friends that they never thought they'd have and connections they never thought they'd have. So
in your experience, can movement be a way that, yes, it makes the body stronger, but it also heals the inner person or their emotions?
I feel like that sounds like a trick question. Obviously, yes. Movement heals. Movement heals from every aspect of life. I also think that just moving in a setting where you're in a group or working with another person really puts you in a vulnerable state sometimes. And I think vulnerability is really important for growth. And so when you start to kind of get vulnerable and you start moving and you start exploring and you start challenging yourself and realizing your limits sometimes and then finding the way to push through those limits, I think that really opens the door and it allows you to, one, connect with the people that are around you, feeling vulnerable with you or seeing you in those vulnerable states, because not everyone is comfortable being vulnerable. And, it can really open that door to the next level, which is, whether that is healing, whether that is self-growth, and probably a mixture of both.
So then at OSI, movement can be a gateway to make the person feel better on the inside and outside. How important is community in that?
I think community is how people decide to really stay here. I mean, they walk in and you come in and you see the community. You feel loved when you're walking in the door. You know that there are people here that care about you, that want you to be here, that will be there to support you. And I think, community is everything. So, and there's some other projects that we've done, and even Women's Movement Collaborative is all about finding your people and using those people to help you continue to build a life with people. We're meant to be lived, life is meant to be lived together. So, so I think community is number one, super important. I don't know.
Just so you know at home, she has no idea the questions I'm going to ask her.
No, I'm like,
so
where's
we haven't talked about any of this stuff yet. So that's why she's looking at me so weird, if you're watching. All right, so how can a smile, how powerful can a smile be?
Oh, well, a smile is important. When I smile, you smile. Actually, you're probably smiling if you're watching this and you're seeing me smile, or maybe Tim not smile, you're probably smiling too. So smiles are infectious. They automatically tell your brain that you are happy, even if you're not. And you're smiling, your brain is starting to think that you're a little bit happier. And it's just this nice little happy loop. And it's just infectious. So when I smile, it's making you a little bit happier. maybe him a little bit happier, and then he's going to continue to smile, and the next person's going to continue to smile, and it's a whole pay it forward sort of thing.
And I'm just asking all these questions mostly because, like I said, Dani's kind of a fire starter, but she builds communities. And like, so in this, just for an example, in this small town that we live in, I'm not going to say single-handedly, but she spearheaded a movement that raised, over $25,000 to help people from after a hurricane.
Yeah.
That was just one time. She did that also again. Like, she has this habit of just rallying communities. And she rallies people together, and I don't know, it's really neat to watch. And she is the Mother Teresa of the fitness industry. So if she could, she would train anybody and everybody for free, if she could. And sometimes she does, and sometimes she doesn't tell me, and then sometimes she tells me after the fact, like months after, oh, by the way, so-and-so. But so, yes, if you could, you would train everybody for free.
I would pretty much do a lot of things for free. I do a lot of things for free. Don't call me. I don't even know. Actually, call me later. Just don't tell Tim.
Yeah, we're going to edit that out. So why? Why would you train people for free?
I think when you love what you do and you know that you have the ability to be able to help people, and I mean, obviously it feels good to help, but to be able to serve in a different capacity, to be able to, give is just, it's reward in itself. I'm not necessarily like financially or monetarily driven. I am driven by helping others and seeing that play out. I've never been asked that question before, actually, which is interesting. But yeah, I see a need and I want to fill the need.
Okay. I already know the answer to this. Do you end up hurting yourself sometimes because you want to help others so much?
Yes.
Why do you do that?
I don't mean to. It's just like sometimes you just get in so deep. You want to help everybody. And here's the thing, you can't help everybody. And I know that is probably a million quotes all over the place, but it is hard to find that balance. And actually, about a year ago, I had an experience, which you already know about, where I just kept going. Like, someone needed help, and I helped this person, and then it led to this next step, and I had to help them some more, and then some more, and then some more, and the next thing you know, I'm like literally drowning, trying to help this person, bending over backwards, and it was taking and sucking away from me. And Tim, like, I'm like kind of pretty emotionally distraught at this point, and he's like, "But when is enough enough?" And I think that's a really like tricky question, and it's hard sometimes to figure out like when is enough enough. But it's definitely a hard lesson learned, and one that I'm still working on all the time, but it's definitely getting better at.
Okay. And now you know a little more about Dani. Let me, I'm gonna jump tracks almost a little bit. What is the Strong and Able Challenge that we do?
Yes, so Strong and Able Challenge is a 6-week challenge that focuses on helping people build healthy habits. So our goal is to take 6 weeks where we show people how to move more, move a little bit more, be a little bit more mindful about what they're putting into their body, taking time for self-care and self-growth, and then taking time to obviously press reset, which is something that, of course, we highly encourage. So we focus, taking a little bit of time each day to build each of these habits. So, whether it's asking them to just get in different fruits and vegetables each day. So what we usually suggest is about 5 fruits and vegetables each day, a serving of. So we try to keep it kind of simple but open their options so that they can see all the things that are possible versus trying to take things away and saying, no, you can't do this. What we do is we say, hey, we want you to try to do these things to the best of your ability. We give you ways to do it in a good, better, best mindset. And then, ideally, after 6 weeks, people are able to continue these habits.
So after 6 weeks, people build these healthy habits. In the whole challenge and all those categories that we have, what do you think is the most important aspect of the challenge?
Sure. So I think my first reaction would be to say to press reset, but just in general, getting people to move more. And whether that is spending time focusing on breathing or rolling around on the floor, it's, to me, time that you're just listening to your body and allowing your brain to quiet itself and just listen to the way that your body, or the things that your body needs at that time. And so, for me, I would say, again, pressing reset, moving more, getting down, and just taking like 5 minutes a day just to move a little bit more each day.
So that's kind of a shock to me, because I was going to assume that you were going to say self-care was the most important. And you kind of did, because our categories kind of overlap each other.
So I mean, in my opinion, and for me, like, which I wanted self-care in this challenge. So, and I think self-care is incredibly important, but for me, my pressing reset time is my strongest self-care. So, like you said, they do totally overlap, but,
What before you get going deep, what is self-care then inside of our Strong and Able Challenge? How do you classify self-care?
Self-care is time that you can give to yourself to fill your cup. And actually, our manager here at OSI, that's her term. She says self-care is when you're able to do something that just fills your cup. So it fills your heart, makes you happy, gives you joy. And whether that is, taking a bath, reading a book, going for a walk, spending quality time with your loved ones, or serving other people, like through community service. There's lots of different ways that you can fill your own cup with self-care.
So when it comes to self-care, what do you tell people in the challenge? Like, what examples do you give them for self-care?
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty broad for you, so go for it.
Yeah. So, anything from giving someone a hug to, and I'm saying like a good hug, not just like a little, like a really good, solid, like 3-breath hug.
So self-care can be caring for someone else.
Yeah.
And it reflects back to yourself. How does that work?
Oh, well, I think that a lot of times we really desire to give love and to be loved. And anytime that I think you're able to reflect that love to someone else, one, it feels good. Two, you're supposed to give love. And a lot of times I think a lot of people don't have the opportunities, or maybe they don't always take the opportunities to do that. And so when you're able to reach out and to love somebody in a different way, in lots of different ways, I think it's very powerful. And I think that's an act of self-care. I don't know if that's what you were looking for.
Yeah, sure. So what other types of self-care?
So maybe you want to go try something new, like go, take a class, read a new book, learn something, go for a float in the float tank, get your hair done. Some of your more spa type things can be one form of self-care, all the way into, community service, taking time to study, read the Bible, pray, breathe, yoga. I think it's incredibly broad because it's what fills your cup. So what I consider self-care is probably not exactly the same as what Tim would consider self-care, probably some overlaps, but again, there's kind of an endless possibility, but it's stuff that should fill you up, not take away, and things that, offer room and an opportunity for growth.
All right, so since you mentioned it, how important is faith and or spirituality in self-care, or just in wholeness in general?
I'm just gonna straight up say I don't really believe that you are truly feeling whole if you don't have some sort of spiritual connection in one way or another. I feel like once you find that connection, you feel whole. And sometimes I think we don't know that we're not whole until we realize there's something missing and we're searching.
From looking at a whole person, so to me, the Strong and Able Challenge is more or less geared towards helping the whole person, spirit, soul, and body. Mm-hmm. And without that spiritual healing or spiritual component, then there is something lacking from the person.
Yeah. I think when you know where your strength comes from, I think that it allows you take it to the next level of being truly incredibly strong and resilient. And so I think once you start exploring your relationships spiritually and making, deeper connections and deeper time to be able to listen and explore your faith journey, whatever that looks like for you, I think it allows you to become, it just opens, I keep saying opens doors, but I mean, and that's really, it's just like literally I envision like this opening up and this new bright, no, I mean, I'm serious. I don't know. I know it sounds crazy, but when you're spiritually connected and you have a little bit more, time and relationship there, I think it just really opens a whole new realm of things that will make you question a lot of the other things.
If a person came to OSI and you could tell them one thing, what would you tell them?
I totally didn't think this was about to come out of my mouth. That it was just, my first reaction was going to be, "You got this." Now, that's very not deep, okay? But that was like what was about. So like that was the first thing that was going to come out of my mouth. But I don't know why I would say that. But then at the same time, I guess because at the end of the day, like I believe that everyone is 100% capable and strong and resilient, and that they are awesomely and wonderfully made. And so by saying simply something as easy as "you got this," like I want them to know that 100% I know that they are capable of whatever it is, and that they are incredible. They are amazing, like wonderful people. I know that's not deep. That's not deep enough, I'm sure, but
no, but if it's true, that's
yeah,
what we're looking for.
Yeah. I mean, I would just want them to know that whatever it is that they can do it, and I think that's it.
Before we go, what is your favorite client story?
Oh, I don't know. I have a lot.
Can you narrow it down to
I know.
one?
Yeah. Yes. Probably Jacob. Jacob is an individual that I worked with. He has cerebral palsy, and he came to us with from a recommendation from a friend, and I didn't 100% really know what I was getting into because I never met him, I never talked to him or his family or anything, and he showed up and came in. He was probably like 15 years old at the time, and pretty dependent on his family to help him with some basic care needs. And we spent a lot of time together getting him to move. He's pretty much in an electric wheelchair. Yes, an electric. It wasn't coming out of my mouth. Yep, an electric wheelchair. He is in that all day, and we were able to just like get him out of the chair and get down on the floor and move and do things that he didn't think was possible. And honestly, like when you say client story, like if I'm just like thinking back to a memory, like just seeing him, like how joyful he was to be able to move and to get out of the chair was incredibly powerful to me, just to be able to help him like find that independence to be able to move around on his own. But after a few months of working together, his mom called me up and told me he's able to like get in and out of his bed on his own. And at that point he was 16 and had just for the first time in his life been able to get in and out of his bed on his own, which was a huge win because it was just like giving him one more piece of his like control of his life and being able to do what he wanted to do when he wanted to do it.
Would you say his story is to me, it's kind of miraculous? Would you say it is?
Yes.
So would you say though that it's the movement that led to the miracle, or the love that you poured into him that led to the miracle?
The love that we poured into it. So I think we gave him hope. And when you give someone hope, things that they never thought were possible become possible. And it's not just Jacob. Like I just had a conversation this week with someone that didn't think they would ever step foot into a gym, and there was a chance like that this person was told they wouldn't even make it to where they are being alive right now, where they are. And at one point last week, he told me, I don't know, maybe I put too much expectation. Like maybe I shouldn't have had such high expectations, and maybe this isn't possible. And we started talking, and he came in and he did a workout, and he left and was like, this gave me hope. Like this gave me hope that there's more, you know, that I can do more. Like I'm not gonna have to just stop here.
So he's not broken.
It's not broken. And that's powerful.
Like, what do you think everyone should know? What's the one thing you think everyone should know?
I think that everyone should know that they are undeniably, powerfully, awesomely, and wonderfully made. That was a lot of like hyperboles, is that what that is? But you know that every single person is is seriously, like, without a doubt, possible and able to do all things. And if you're on the fence, or you think that there's no time, or that you're too old, or you're too broken, that is a lie. That because you are awesomely and wonderfully made. That was like a lot of words.
A lot of words. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Rainbows and Sunshine herself, Dani Almeyda. Crunchy peanut butter or creamy?
Oh, it depends on what I'm eating. This
All
is
right.
funny. I just have to, like, seriously, you didn't really make fun of me very much at all. So just so you guys know, I mean, we work together a lot. This is the first time you've heard me, but like there is a constant like bickering, and I think we held it together mostly. But he calls me the waffler because I like go back and forth on things all the time, and I was expecting the waffling comment with the peanut butter. You didn't give it to me, so.
And there you have it, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Let's try and be nice.
We hope you've enjoyed this edition of the Original Strength Podcast. If you made it this far, thank you so much.